What is up guys, Julien here of Social Vignerons. Welcome back to another wine video. This is episode 11 of Julien's Wine School, and today we're looking at the top 5 advanced facts that you should know about Chardonnay. So with yesterday's video, which was the top 5 basic facts that you should absolutely know about the most famous of all white wines, well, you've got here a nice top 10 interesting things about Chardonnay. But let's jump right into today's 5 detailed facts about Chardy. Let's go! So yes indeed, the Chardonnay grape is the most planted white wine grape variety worldwide. Although it's only the 8th most planted grape variety globally. As a white grape, if we only look at white grapes, it actually only comes 4th as the most planted white grape variety in the world. But the top 3 white grapes are, in fact, number 1 is Solternina, which is more of a table grape that is used to make raisins, so it doesn't make it into turning into wine. Then there's Uniblanc, that is called Trebbiano in Italy, which is used more often than not to make brandy, especially in France, like in Cognac and Armagnac. Then there's also Ayren, which is more of a Spanish grape variety that is cultivated in the center of Spain, but this one also makes it more often than not into making brandy. So Chardonnay is indeed, in fact, the most planted, the most famous and the most produced white wine grape variety in the world. So if we now look at the top 3 Chardonnay producing countries, those are number 1 France, quite obviously, but it's very closely followed by the United States, which in fact have virtually just as much Chardonnay planted as France, surprisingly enough. Then comes Australia. But Chardonnay is planted virtually in every wine producing country, every one of them. The top 10 Chardonnay making nations, also including by descending order of vineyard surface area, Italy, Chile, South Africa, Spain, Argentina, Moldova and New Zealand. Fun fact, in the early 1940s there were fewer than 100 acres of Chardonnay grapes grown in California. Now there are more than 100,000 acres. So this is a nice bottle of old Grand Cru Pinot Noir from Burgundy, and this is here a Bourgogne Burgundy Chardonnay. So when we think about Burgundy, well, we often think of red Pinot Noir wines, right? And that's perhaps and most probably because Burgundy is also obviously the name of a color, the wine shade of red. But in fact, Chardonnay represents, Chardonnay wines represent about 60% of all Burgundy's wine output, compared to only 30% for Pinot Noir. The rest of it is divided between Aligoté and Gamay in Burgundy. So despite these wines, this Chardonnay bright and shiny and appealing color, this is unfortunately not one of the most expensive wines in the world. Of course, Chardonnay being the most planted white wine grape variety in the world, well, there's a lot of cheap, tasteless and, too often ordinary Chardonnays out there, virtually down every shelves of every supermarket all around the globe. But, don't forget that Chardonnay also makes some of the most expensive and finest wines in the world. The top 5 most expensive Chardonnay wines all come from Burgundy, and they're ranging from, fasten your seatbelt, $4,000 a bottle to over $11,000 a flask. Those are all Burgundy Grand Cru super rare fine wines. top 5 being Domaine Le Fleuve Montrachet, Domaine de la Romanée-Conti Montrachet, the white wine by famous Romanée-Conti rare producer, Leroy, Domaine d'Auvenay Chevalier Montrachet, Coche du Riz, Corton Charlemagne, and Domaine Leroy's also Corton Charlemagne. So 2 top vineyard sites for Chardonnays in Burgundy. As for high-end 100% Chardonnay champagnes, if you're looking for the bubbly Chardonnay, well, Krug's Clos du Mesnil is a rare single vineyard that retails around $1,200. In the US, one of the most expensive Chardonnays is Marcassin's Estate Chardonnay, which retails around $400. So let's talk about the 1976 Judgement of Paris. Most of us remember mainly, from that historic event that changed the wine landscape forever. We mainly remember, including me, I'm happy to confess it, the results of the confrontation between the Napa Valley Reds against some of the top chateaus in the Bordeaux region. But Stephen Spurrier's Judgement of Paris, Stephen Spurrier was the journalist, UK British journalist who organized the Judgement of Paris. His tasting also included white wines made from Chardonnay in France versus Chardonnays from California. There were in fact 6 Cali Chard contenders and 4 white Burgundies in the blind tasting lineup compared by French journalists and a few other journalists from around the place. The 6 California Chardonnays came from what are now famous classic estates, of course, such as Chalon Vineyard, Freemark Abbey, Vie de Crust Vineyards, the David Bruce Winery and Spring Mountain Vineyard. The 4 French white Burgundies were Domaine Rouleau, Maison Joseph Drouin, Domaine Ramon et Prudent and Domaine Le Fleuve. Of course, the winning Chardonnay was, and some of you will know that, it was 1973 Chateau Montelena Chardonnay, as was made famous obviously by the Hollywood movie, I'll let you say it, Bottle Shark, with the runner-up, the second being a French 1973 same vintage Meursault Charme Rouleau. And here we go, that's it for me for today, a little bit over 3.5 minutes as always, but still I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't watched part 1 of this series with the top 5 fun and interesting facts that you should know about Chardonnay, I'll link to it right now at the end of this video and down in the description. Stay tuned to the channel as we'll continue exploring and learning about the wonderful world of wine. The Julien Wine School is where I mean to share everything that I know about wine so you can soon become a wine expert too. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did to support my work and the channel. And I will see you soon in the wonderful world of wine. Cheers. Santé.